Have you ever had a well-meaning family member or friend try to give you advice on how to get better sleep because they sleep well, but all they're doing is actually causing frustration and anger and anxiety inside of you instead? I think one of the worst advice I ever got was just stop thinking, or just go to bed earlier. And you go to bed earlier, but you're just going to lay there for hours unable to sleep. And when they're good sleepers, they don't understand what it feels like to struggle with sleep. So it leaves you feeling even more alone and frustrated and misunderstood because you're trying everything you can to go to sleep, but it's not working. That's what I want to do some tapping on today. So my name is Carol Richard from Tapping Into Sleep. And before we start tapping, why don't you go to my website, go to my disclaimer, the link will be in the description below, and make sure you take responsibility for your own health and well-being. So what are we tapping on? It's either frustration, anger, whatever other emotion shows up when you think of someone and telling you to just go to bed earlier. Or I had a client once, it was a comment that her brother had made to his children that auntie just can't get out of bed that early because she doesn't know how to go to bed at night or something like that. So do you have an event in your life where somebody's made a comment or try to give you advice on your sleep, and they're good sleepers and they don't understand what it's like to be you struggling with your sleep? So for this tapping, I want you to find that event, but I'm going to choose one where someone told me once to just go to bed earlier. And if you're struggling to sleep, you can go to bed earlier all you want. If you're so wired and tired, your brain can't shut off, you're not going to go to sleep. So just thinking about that person making that comment to me, the first emotion that comes up is anger. There's also a little bit of resentment. And there's this feeling of not being understood, of like, well, don't you think I'm trying to go to sleep type feeling. So I'm going to choose the anger to tap on first because we just tap on one emotion at a time. So when I think about that person making that comment, the anger, it's not very strong right now, but I want you to rate it from 0 to a 10. I've already done some tapping on this. So for me, it's not very strong. I'm using it as an example to show you of how you would tap for this. So say the anger is about a 3 is what's coming up right now, but whatever number that is for you. So we have our specific event, which is that person making that comment. Write down what the comment was for you. Anger is the emotion out of 10. And the next question is, do you feel it anywhere in your body? Some people will actually have a feeling in their body show up. Like I can feel some tension in my shoulders showing up. So I would use that in my tapping statement. So once you have that, let's start tapping and see what comes up, because we never know when we start tapping how we can release this. Okay, so even though I remember that person making that comment to me that I should just go to bed earlier, like if that's going to fix my sleep issues. I'm feeling this anger. Oh, it's right in my chest now, in my chest. It's in my back too. So it's like on the upper part of my body. I deeply and completely accept who I am. And even though, just remembering that person telling me to go to bed earlier, like if that's going to fix my sleep issues. I feel this anger in my upper body. I deeply and completely accept who I am. And even though I'm feeling this anger in my upper body, just remembering that person telling me to go to bed earlier. I deeply and completely love and accept who I am. Top of the head, this anger in my upper body. Like if that's really going to make me fall asleep. I've tried to go to bed earlier. It doesn't work for me. Because my brain is too wired. All this anger at that friend. Why can't they understand what it's like for me? All this anger towards that friend. I try to go to sleep. I do everything I can. But I just lay there awake anyway. Start paying attention for you. Is it changing? Is it switching? Is it still anger? There was some resentment showing up for me. So the anger is almost gone, but now there's resentment. So I would do the same with the resentment. And for some reason, it's really showing up loud in my ears right now. Like there's a sensation in my ears showing up. All right, so even though I'm now feeling the resentment in my ears, God, can they not hear me when I say I'm trying? Deeply and completely accept who I am. And even though I'm now feeling the resentment in my ears, I feel it really strong in my ears. Like, can't they not hear me? Can they not hear that I am trying my best to go to sleep? I deeply and completely accept who I am. And even though I'm feeling this resentment in my ears, can they not hear me when I say I'm trying everything I can to go to sleep? I acknowledge that this is how I feel. All this resentment in my ears. Can they not hear me? All this resentment in my ears. Can they not hear me? I told them that I tried to go to sleep and it won't work for me. All this resentment in my ears. All this resentment in my ears. So take a breath. Take water if you have it. It's good to drink water when we're tapping. So now I want you to tune in again when you think of that person making a comment. Just try to go to bed earlier. The first emotion I tapped on was anger. So is there anger there? There's still some anger, probably at a 2. I'm going to check with the resentment. I don't feel any resentment, but I'm feeling anger again. So I had anger that turned into resentment. That is back to anger. What's the anger about? So I like to ask this question. I'm angry because I'm not heard. And that's all that's coming up in my head. So even though still feeling angry because I told them that I'm trying to go to sleep. And it leaves me feeling unheard. I deeply and completely acknowledge that this is how I feel. And even though I'm still feeling angry at that person, because I've told them that I'm trying to do everything I can to sleep, and they're not hearing me, it's leaving me feeling unheard. I deeply and completely accept who I am. And even though it's leaving me feeling totally unheard, I acknowledge that this is my current reality. Feeling unheard when I tell them that I am trying to go to sleep. And it doesn't work for me. It leaves me feeling unheard. It leaves me feeling unheard. I wonder if it's possible to know that that's not my fault. I wonder if that's possible. That it's up to me to fix my sleep issues. It's up to me to find out why I can't sleep. And I don't have to take advice from people who don't know what it's like to struggle with sleep. Well, that felt good just saying that. I don't have to accept advice from people who don't know what it feels like to struggle with sleep. How did that feel for you to say that sentence? I don't have to accept advice from people who don't know what it's like to struggle with sleep. All right, so I recheck on the anger. I always want to go back to check. I was feeling anger. Am I still angry when I think of that person not listening to me feeling not understood, not heard? And right now I don't. So it's time for us to reframe into the positive, right? And so that comment or that statement I said, I don't have to accept advice from people who don't know what it's like to struggle with sleep. I don't have to accept advice from people who don't know what it's like to struggle with sleep. I can set boundaries. I can tell them that their advice is not helpful. And then I can walk away. I can find like-minded people. I can get help from people who understand what it's like not to sleep. I know it's possible. I know it's possible to fix my sleep. Or at least I want to believe that it's possible for me to fix my sleep. I just need to find the right support. I wonder if it's possible to acknowledge myself and know that I don't have to take advice from people who've never struggled with sleep. I can choose to let the advice roll off my back because it wasn't helpful advice. All right, let's have your hands on your heart. I hope that was helpful for you. I know myself that I had so many comments and advice from well-meaning people, and they really try to help us. They just don't understand what it's like not to sleep. So if you need support, you know how to reach me. Book your optimal sleep assessment. The link is in the comments below. You don't have to struggle with your sleep struggle alone. You know, there's people that can help you, guide you on your journey to better sleep. And I'm hoping I can help you do that. That's it for today.